Greetings all, this is Dickie Adams with Pocketnow.com, and today we're going to take a closer look at the software on the LG Spectrum for Verizon. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. As we mentioned in the unboxing, the LG Spectrum from Verizon is running Android 2.3.5. We got the lock screen here, and I kind of like this glass effect here, this slide to unlock effect, especially with my Galaxy S2 that's kind of got the picture unlock. This looks a little more impressive to the eyes. But as soon as you go to the unlock piece, you notice that you've got a skinned version of Android 2.3.5, which is gingerbread, and it's LG's skin, and it looks a lot like Touchwiz, except it feels like Touchwiz without a whole lot of the optimizations that come with the Touchwiz devices. If we start here with the main screen, and you can scroll back and forth and see the little red dot at the top that tells us what page we are. But as you can see, I'm swiping through here pretty quickly, and it has a tendency to lag up, as especially goes by widgets. And in the full review, we'll try out using a different launcher and see if that makes much of a difference. But what I found is that overall the device is just pretty laggy software-wise, especially scrolling back and forth. But you can add and remove items from this device for the pages as you would expect, and when you move icons around, it shows a little shadow version of the icon in the background to show you where you're going to drop that particular icon. If you look at the taskbar tray up here at the top, you've got the standard buttons. Again, it takes up a lot of space for what it really could for this type of screen. I mean, you've got some pretty big icons, especially right here, the connected to, and it shows the wireless network, and then it shows a big banner here for Verizon Wireless. It does absolutely nothing. And then this portion of the screen is dedicated to the notifications. So to me, that's a little bit of a waste of space, and colors-wise, it doesn't look all that hot. I'm not terribly impressed with it. I'm not terribly disappointed. If you don't have the wireless turned on or connected to something and you run into a wireless network, then it brings up this annoying box over and over and over again every time you pop into a network. Hey, I've just noticed this, and then you can tell it to turn off the, ignore it for now, but it'll inevitably come back. There's an option to change it, but right out of the box it's a little annoying, as I mentioned before. So then if we go into the app tray, right here, this is the default view that you get, except I've expanded some of these options. You can see you can collapse these categories here. And it's, again, I'm tapping here, and it's a little bit slow to open up these items. And additionally, there is due to the way that they use the scrolling effect, if you start scrolling and then you tap on an icon, it has a tendency to pause the screen a little bit. So you have to kind of stop. When you scroll, you have to stop the scrolling and then tap on the icon in order for it to immediately launch. It's not really a bug, it's more of a feature, but it is an annoyance if you don't recognize that that's what's happening at first. You can change the layout to list or category. There is no standard view that you would get on any of the other Android devices these days. Of course, launching right into things there. And then you can grab on the bar here and scroll up and down quickly through your applications. Let's go ahead and go back to the category list here. And then you can manage your apps and change the category here as well. There is some bloat on here. I should say there's a lot of bloat on here. While I like the Amazon Kindle app as a software application, it doesn't necessarily need to be installed, especially one like Blockbuster. I have no interest in using Blockbuster on an Android device, especially when it comes with Netflix on it. Score Center, some people may like this, but it's not really a bonus for me. And then you've got some demos like Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, and Let's Golf, which require you to download additional pieces. There's the mobile hotspot, which is I've used to tether to this device, and it works just like you would expect it to as well. Verizon Navigator we'll come back to in just one moment. And then we scroll down here and we've got some of the default apps. At least the navigation was installed by default. That was a thankful touch. And then it shows down here at the bottom what applications that I've installed to do some testing and to use the devices. I use it in my daily functionality. So going back up here to the Verizon Navigator, this is going to lock the device up really quick. So you have to watch a little carefully. As I tap Verizon Navigator, I've never been able to get this to actually launch successfully. So here we go. launch, and black. Down here at the bottom you can see that the icons have lit up, and if I power off the device, power it back on, I get the lock screen, but as soon as I slide the lock screen up and out, you see the Verizon Navigator application open the background, the lights lit up again, but nothing happened. The only way out of this is to toggle it on and off, and before you swipe here is press and hold the power button and tell it to shut off. It's the only way that I found to kick back out of the Verizon Navigator application. Hopefully they'll release a fix for that soon, but that's a big bad crash. I've also had other crashes with this device. Today on the phone, about midway through the phone call, it popped up a notification that the phone had wanted to force close, and I had the option to wait, and I told it to wait once, and then it popped up that notification again, and it promptly then disconnected me from the person on the other end of the line without giving me any notification that happened, and then I couldn't use the phone again until I rebooted the device. So this device and the software has been plagued with these sort of issues since I've received it, and I just have not been impressed with LG's implementation of Android 2.3.5 on the LG Spectrum. Let's go ahead and go into settings here. A couple of interesting options. There's a lot of defaults here, but if we go in here to mobile networks, we can see that there's global data roaming access. That's kind of a neat option here for this particular device with the Lte Roaming Capabilities. And then also another interesting item that we have here is the gestures, which can allow you to do different things like previous and next item by just tapping on the edge of the screen rather than swiping back and forth, to flip the device over to go into snooze on your alarm, or even to pause the video by flipping the device over. So those are some kind of neat functionality, but unless you remember to turn them on, you probably never know that they're there without some deep dive investigation, because it certainly doesn't give you any tutorials like the Samsung devices do with their gestures. So let's go ahead and launch the browser and go to Pocketnow.com, and it's going to launch right in the mobile version first, and we'll switch that in just a moment. And we'll scroll down, desktop version. There we go, finally loaded. Now I'm scrolling up and down, and things are a little better, scrolling back and forth. If I zoom way in, you can see the screen looks very nice with this, high resolution display. But if I'm pinching out, it's just kind of slowly chunking out. There's another example of this slowness effect here. If I go back into the settings and display and brightness, if I turn off the automatic brightness and then I scroll up to the top, it takes a few seconds for it to catch up. If I scroll all the way down, same effect. It takes a few seconds for it to actually go all the way up or all the way down in brightness. Compared to other devices, that's kind of slow. Now that may be something they're doing on purpose, or maybe the construction of this particular display, but it is something that's noticeable on this device. Switching over to the camera application, you see it's just got a very basic interface. Got a toggle here for switching back and forth between the video camera and the standard camera. I can switch the camera direction around, I can zoom in, I can toggle the flash, and there are some other settings like here color effect and white balance, ISO, the focus mode, whether auto or face tracking, and then you just press and hold the button to take the shot as you would expect. We'll cover more of the actual pictures and the photo functionality and the detail of that in the hardware overview or tour. That wraps up our software tour for the LG Spectrum from Verizon. If you have any comments or questions or would like to see us cover something specific in the hardware review, please leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you do like the video, and thanks for watching.